Good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am so grateful to be here and so glad to be here, more than you know. I've been doing some research lately on how important the big toe is. Now, I was inspired over this last weekend. I won't bore you with the details, but it's probably not a good idea to be hustling at a pretty good pace in the absolute dark in Mexico on a sidewalk that has a straight drop off with no edge into a 3-foot irrigation canal. But I learned what a fractured big toe it looks like with a compound dislocation. I never heard of a compound dislocation before, but there it was. So it created a very interesting weekend for me, but it caused me to search how important is the big toe? And number one thing there is that that the big toe itself plays an essential role in stabilization. Without it, you'd have hardly any shock absorption capability and very limited propulsive force, going forward. So there's probably no surprise that your big toe is pretty dang important, as I'm finding out, and that's why I'm sitting today instead of standing. Big toes provide stability. Stability is something that we don't think about as a leadership quality. That is, like what happened to me, until it's absent. Think of the worst leader you've encountered, and I can virtually guarantee they were anything but stable. Probably erratic, ill-tempered, and inconsistent. A lack of stability harms culture. It stifles productivity. It erodes trust and makes it extremely difficult to retain top talent. And then as time passes, it's going to reveal all the other problems that it creates, which is a lot. Few things positively impact an organization, a family, any type of a community, like a stable tone from the top. A humble and resolute confidence, a sure hand, and steady calm inspire belief in a leader's competence and capability, and empowers the team. Stable leaders not only know where they stand, but they also leave no doubt in the minds of others as to what matters and what will and won't be tolerated. So as I thought about this and related it to my toe, I thought, okay, what are the 4 treads of stability in leadership? And of course, you can guess the first one, gratitude. Gratitude-centered. You see, most stable leaders understand that their success is rooted in the arrows out, in outward focused gratitude, in the care and well-being of those they lead. Stable leaders have a natural bias towards gratitude, towards empathetic and compassionate behavior. When those you lead know you care, it creates a sense of trust and stability not found in more mercenary or callous leaders. Gratitude unexpressed is ingratitude perceived. Gratitude expressed is the ultimate security, the ultimate safety, the ultimate empowerment. Imagine a car navigating the challenges of driving in uncertain conditions without shock absorbers or tread on their tires. Gratitude is the tread and the shock absorber that keeps us securely in motion in our roads in life. Okay, number 1, gratitude. Number 2, principle-based. Stable leaders have an open mind, but they also have strong convictions and principles. And while stable leaders listen to others, they are not prone to being wishy-washy. Their principles are what drives their actions. They're not afraid to go against the court of public opinion. You might not always agree with stable leaders, but you'll never have any doubt as to where they stand. So number 3 is an aligned vision. An aligned vision based clearly upon stated values that are based on principles, and the character then to hold people accountable to those principles will create a high trust culture. Purpose and people matter more than process and short-term results. The 4th one, predictability/confidence. Confidence comes from execution. You'll never ask yourself before you go out on a walk or before you go compete in something, I wonder if my big toe will be there today for me. Or is it going to take a day off? Big toes are confidence builders. You don't even know it until they're gone, like stability. If the people you lead are afraid to make mistakes, however, you'll never see their best work. You will have led them to a perpetual state of mediocrity. Smart leaders make it safe for people to think big, to take risks, to try new and different things. Nothing creates stability more than a high trust environment where people are rewarded for the right behaviors and not punished for them. Bill Murray, from one of his movies, said, great quote, "The Army needs leaders like the foot needs a big toe." So don't let that little piggy go to market. Let's make this a big toe moment week. Let's look for those stabilizers in our lives that allow us to lead with the empowerment and the vision and the gratitude that we're all capable of. Have a meaningful week. I look forward to talking to you next week. Bye-bye.